All right, it is early in the morning. It's 4th of July, so happy Independence Day for all of us here in the US. Just saw a video by Steve Shaw, who I like Steve Shaw. I believe that in the real world out here, not in there, that Steve Shaw and I would get along very well. And I know he just lost a bunch of weight, and congrats on that. That's friggin' excellent, outstanding. But his take on cardio is wrong. It's just wrong, brother. It's just mistaken. It's mistaken. I don't even want to use the word wrong because I have a lot of respect for you, man. I like you, and I don't want to say that you're wrong. I'm going to say that your experiences differ from the overwhelming reality that actually is cardio. Cardio, now let me put it to you this way. If you're a really big, overweight person, way overweight, like a lot overweight, like some of the people you see walking around that are morbidly obese, with body fat, because now they are catching on. They're not really categorizing guys like me as obese anymore, believe it or not. They used to. If you're that out of shape and that fat, that much body fat, cardio is mediocre, at least in the beginning for the first potentially a year of dropping weight. Really, I've seen the people that I've seen that were in that condition that dropped, and I know several now that dropped over 100 pounds in a year. They did it with basically what was a keto diet or a version of a keto diet. So that's a whole different ballgame. That's not the same thing that somebody like me wants to do when I decide to get lean. And to tell you the truth, I'm agonizing right this minute because I need a new circuit board for my treadmill. And my treadmill is like a really nice treadmill that I love this treadmill, but the circuit board is bad because some mice decided to crawl in there and take a dump, which is, neither here nor there. I know you don't want to hear it, so. But for me, woe is me. I'm in the mood now and itching to really get really lean, not just a little bit, to really get lean. And without my treadmill, that's not happening unless I want to lose a lot of muscle. It's just not happening because that's my preferred way to do cardio. Man, cardio does so much that it's not something you can write down on paper and compare to, in numbers. It just doesn't work that way. Fasted cardio, when you get up in the morning, like if you're a daytime person, and you do fasted cardio on an empty stomach, and of course, I'm a big L-carnitine guy. I'll hit a bottle of L-carnitine like I'm drinking a shot of whiskey before I get on the cardio. Once I really get into it, and it works dramatically. But the cardio, man, guys like myself, and I know lots of guys like myself. It's not like when Blaha or one of these people say, the pro bodybuilders that I've talked to, or the elite level guys that I know, or this, he doesn't know anybody. He doesn't leave his house. He doesn't really know anybody. Okay, why would any of these people even have any discussion with him about anything? They have no common ground. We don't take somebody like that seriously. The shit that he says, man, it'd be kind of like me looking to Rich Piana for fitness tips. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody has their little niche, their little space, but just to give you a clue in, somebody like me, I may look at things a little differently than a newbie or somebody just starting along or somebody just doesn't know. But guys like myself, we always have known that you can get away with a lot of sins if your cardio is effective enough. And what's going to make it effective is what you put into it. If you know how to do effective cardio, it's simple as that. And I'm not talking about, you don't have to jump out there. The worst thing you can do is jump into cardio and do it every single day. And I'm not trying to be sexist, but women make this mistake very frequently. They jump into the cardio and they do it every day, and they see a very impressive fat loss initially. And they're encouraged by that. But what happens is you will lose a lot quickly, but then you'll get stale because your body will adapt, and you'll be in such decent cardiovascular conditioning that you can no longer, your body doesn't have to, it's not forced to burn any more body fat to accomplish what you're trying to make it do. So by the end of the game, you still got that last 10 pounds of fat you want to lose, or 5 pounds of fat you want off, and you just can't get it off, and you're doing cardio day and night. So what I do is I incrementally step the cardio up. Progressively, just like with training, with resistance, I progressively increase the cardio. And when I start out and introduce it, it's very little. It's very little. The first introduction in a plan or a course of action to lose fat of cardio that I'll do will only be like 2 sessions of 20 minutes each a week. That's like minimum. I'll do like 2 sessions of 20 minutes each a week. And if that's effective, the fat will start coming off. If that's effective, the fat will start coming off. And then when the fat doesn't come off, right, then I will add a third session of 20 minutes, generally, and then the same thing. I don't change it up again until the results stop coming, stops producing results. Then I will either add another session, or I will extend the duration of the 3 sessions I'm already doing by 5 minutes. So then I'll be doing 25 3 times a week. You understand? Then I just can, extend the duration. I don't go more than max. I don't do more than 35 minutes probably of cardio in each session. I've never had to. And I may end up doing cardio every morning. But at that point, I get like very lean. Lean enough by any standard that an average person walking around is going to say, "Oh, I'm excellently fit. I'm lean. I look great." But now, why does cardio work so effectively? There's too many. It triggers too many responses in the body if you do it correctly, for you to really sit down and it's just too much. I'm not a researcher. I don't get paid to sit down all day and just write down everything I can think of that comes to mind, or do all the research to sit here and run off a litany of productive things that cardio stimulates or puts into action within your body. But not least of them all is insulin resistance. It counteracts insulin resistance. It does so much shit that, and we do not know everything. We don't know everything, man. We think we know everything about something, and unfailingly, if you hang around and you live long enough, which I'm sure everybody here is going to live a nice, long, happy, healthy life, I certainly hope so, you'll find out that it's 100% accurate that the things that you read today that we believe we understand and know and have interpreted from studies, and this is the result, half of that shit 10 years from now is going to be obsolete, and we're going to find something that completely contradicts that, and we're going to say, "Oh, well, we didn't really quite understand that. Now we understand this." You understand what I'm saying? It's like always, if it works, it works, right? Proof is in the pudding. I'm telling you, cardio is the way to go. And I'm going to say this. If Steve Shaw and I were close enough in proximity that we actually hung out, which we probably would, because he's an outdoorsy guy. He likes camping. He likes, I've seen him in the woods in other videos. And that's all me. I'm happiest outside like that. If we were close enough in proximity that we actually hung out, we could make a little challenge together, and both of us doing cardio together, the same amount of cardio, introducing it, and of course coupled with an effective diet plan. We would I could convince him otherwise, because I could show him in his own body, convince him otherwise. Now, there are very, very, very rare cases where I can't get the weight to come off through cardio for some people. I can't get the weight to come off for some people with dietary thermogenics, thermogenic dieting from a dietary perspective. And people like that, like I said, you've got insulin resistance to investigate, you've got thyroid production to investigate. There's so much that there are people that struggle a long time to lose weight. That I've seen people, even in ketosis, that have a lot of trouble. And ketosis in itself can be very tricky. I like to recommend the use of the keto sticks, but they're not accurate. But the good thing is their inaccuracy is to our favor, because they underreport the amount of ketones present. They underreport because ketones present in urine is not the best indicator. What you really want is blood. And they have like little glucose meters. Some of them they have now will measure ketones in the blood. But rather than overcomplicate the thing, and every time you overcomplicate things, you increase the potential for error. I usually just say use the keto sticks, because if you appear to be in full ketosis on the keto stick, brother, you're in full ketosis. There's no question about that, because they underreport, through testing your urine. But I've seen people that get into ketosis, man, and they're doing cardio and still struggle like a sumbitch to lose weight. And I can't even make heads or tails out of that kind of thing. And I'm talking here, the rare occasions I've seen it, I have only seen it happen 2 times in many, 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 many years. I've only seen it happen twice. And both of those times, people who had been in the condition they're in now for a long, long, long time. And then, conversely, I have seen people who have been in similar condition for seemingly most of their adult lives, morbidly obese, a lot of body fat, and they just the fat comes off them like water running off a duck's back, and I've seen guys drop 160 pounds in a year and a half easily, and mostly through just diet. So there's so many ways to approach things and get it done. There's so many ways. There's no one way or one size fits all, and it can be very frustrating, but these are the standard things, and the reason that I do the dietary thermogenesis, and I utilize cardio in this fashion, because that it's like a twofold thing. It incorporates, you already got dietary thermogenesis, which in the first 2 weeks, if you're in dietary thermogenesis, you have not, I repeat, you have not reduced calories, and in some cases, I increase calories. Somebody who hasn't been eating shit, I increase the calories, believe it or not. I know people are going to say, oh, this is bullshit. No, I increase the calories. I can point people out on this channel who I've done it with, and they've lost weight. Increase the calories. And it's because of the source of the food, the source of the calories, that in 2 weeks' time, they will lose, making no other changes. They will lose, some guys are only going to lose 4 or 5 pounds in 2 weeks. But some guys are going to lose 10 to 12, 13 pounds in 2 weeks. But all I'm looking for in the first 2 weeks is an acceptable loss. And that tells me that dietary thermogenesis is taking place. Otherwise, I got to tweak things. And if it is, then we will slowly introduce the cardio to keep things modulated and coming off at the rate we want. But it's, like I've always said, man, diet has to be a fluid thing. Your whole approach needs to be nothing rigid. It has to be, yes, you have to follow it to a T. Otherwise, you will not know what truly works and does not work, and what has affected what if you're all over the place haphazard, and you're not really walking the line with the program you've set for yourself. But you always have to be prepared to bob and weave, man, and move in real time. The worst thing that you can do in your approach to get into shape is to do nothing in the face of a non-response. If you are not getting where you wanted to get to in a reasonable amount of time, sufficient amount of time, and it has stopped working at some point, you can't be too much of a hurry. How long did it take you to gain all this weight? Be patient. But if you actually get to a place where you hit the wall and you're doing everything, the way you have it written out and planned out, then you have to be prepared to make changes and modify and adapt and overcome and switch things up, okay? You don't have time to become stymied through overly assessing the thing on paper and sit there while you're making no progress. Once you've seen no progress, man, you got to pull the trigger. You can assess quickly, look at things, make a change and go. Make the change and keep moving, because you can't get to the point where you're not making progress and you just say, oh, the hell with it, nothing works. You can't do that. Once you've committed to go, you have to go. You have to go and keep going. You can't just stop and give up and quit and roll over and play dead. Once you get to a spot where it's not working, it can be very frustrating. But you just keep trying different things. You just keep, intelligently do your research, do your homework, do your study, pay attention to where you've been, keep notes. But once you make the commitment to go, keep going. Keep going. Modify, change things, switch things up. And another thing I'll point out is my approach to diet and losing body fat, getting into condition, is through the eyes of a person that's trying to do it and create an athletic appearance. So I'm not just looking at someone and saying, oh, we're just going to lose weight. That's not the way I go. There's tons of ways you can do that. There's lots of ways to do that. But that's not the way that I go. When I try to do it, or I help someone try to do it, it's through the eyes of a guy that's trying to maintain all the muscle you can. You may maintain every bit of it and lose fat. You may gain some. It can be done. It has been done. It's nothing new or surprising. But that's the ideal. But that's what I'm shooting for. And there have been times, very, very, very rarely, single-digit numbers, where I may go off the rails because I'm trying to really find something that's going to impress the body enough to knock things off balance, shake things up, to actually stimulate progress. Anyway, that's it. Me and all the bodybuilders, and there's just many, many, many guys, and especially in the old school. Cardio has always been, for me, it's always been like what I've turned to when I didn't feel like really denying myself a lot of the stuff that I shouldn't eat but wanted to eat it anyway. If I'm not that, I'll tell you, no bullshit, even getting ready for a competition. There have been times, early in, where I know how long it takes me to get into shape and what I can do and can't do, or I used to know very well. It's been some time, so I'm not sure. Body changes. I may eat some things that I shouldn't eat here and there, but as long as my cardio is on point, as long as that cardio is on point, I can make up for it and get away with it. Nobody's the wiser. They still see the fat coming off. They still see me, every 2 weeks looking better. So, without cardio, man, yeah, I know it can be done. And I've done both things. I had somebody actually get me ready one year, and I came in bigger than ever, but I did almost no cardio, like none. I wouldn't have done any. I took over and started throwing in at the end out of desperation, but it's the worst I ever appeared. Worst I ever appeared. Now, the times when I've looked like unbelievable, like the guy you would look at and say, that guy's going to go somewhere with this. The times I've looked like that, there was plenty enough cardio involved. And I came in ahead of time that way. And that's where I really like to be. Anyway, that's my take on cardio, man. Cardio, and if you ask me, well, why? I can give you what I know. I can say, well, because of this, because of that, because of the other thing. But the other thing is the unknown. But it does work. That's it.